I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Trucker John Livestream. Is that your live stream? If so, it sounds like you've got a lot of exciting content lined up. Can you tell me more about it? Wow, over 1,700 subscribers. That's quite impressive. Welcome to the place where no topic is off limits. Join me for a whirlwind tour through the latest in politics, pop culture, foodie favourites, and everything in between, with new episodes streaming every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and Saturdays around 11 a.m. Pacific time, right after the Hal Sparks show. There's always something new to discover. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune in
Kamala
now.
Harris in her concession speech to Donald J. Trump, the president-elect, there saying to her supporters across the country and those gathered at Howard University, do not despair, roll up your sleeves, organize, mobilize, and stay engaged.
We control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling? Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie.
Anyone is on. This is funny to watch. One more thing. One more thing. Do something. Yeah, I'm like no guy. Something like this. Don't forget. This is New York. We don't talk. I'm making a team. Do something. I like that line. Do something. I like that line. Do something. Now you got my attention.
Listen, in a way, this is a Who Is This video. And yes, I'd like to know who this scumbag is. But that's just a small part of it. This is just tip of the iceberg. This is part of something much bigger and much more nefarious. For example, if you haven't seen, officials condemn racist text messages sent to black residents in several states. Thousands of black men, women, and children received racist texts the morning after the election. I myself had at least 10 people reach out to me who had gotten texts or who knew someone who had gotten these texts. Texts saying, hey, you've been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. And even more posts on social media of other people who had experienced it and received these texts. Some of them even personalized. Some of them even listing the person's name. This is not like a one-off. This was a coordinated effort. This was a group that planned this and had that plan in place and executed it after the election. They felt emboldened to do this, just like that guy felt emboldened to get in that woman's face. And I'll give you one more. There was someone I know in a group that I'm a part of that posted they went into a big box home improvement store the morning after the election. They saw a young black woman behind the counter crying, went over to make sure that she was okay. And she told them when the store opened that morning, one of the first customers through the door saw her, it was a white man, smiled, started walking toward her. She stepped up to see what she could do to help him. And the first words out of his mouth were, Trump won. Are you ready to going back to knowing your place as a black woman? He woke up, rolled out of bed, got dressed, put on shoes and socks, and went out into the world, eager to find a black woman he could say that to. Listen, I've said before, and I mean it, I'd love to never ever again have to go, who is this? I'd rather that people just stop behaving in a way that makes that necessary. But let me make this clear. I think in the wake of this election, for some reason, the people who love Donald Trump are even angrier since he won. And a bunch of them feel emboldened, feel like now I'm free to do and say what I really feel and think inside. Go ahead. Let his win give you the confidence to write those checks, because I will fucking cash them. I will make video after video. I will expose you. And Donald Trump will not be there to save you. He'll not be there to save you from losing your job or having people in your life cut you off because of your hateful behavior. If you commit crimes, if you make people feel afraid and small because the guy you like won, that door's going to swing back the other way and it's going to catch you in the ass.
Authoritarian leaders across Latin America will likely read Donald Trump's victory in the United States as a strong signal that they can get away with abuse of power, with rights violations, and with corruption. Cuts to U.S. foreign assistance would have a serious impact on civil society organizations and on journalists that hold governments to account in the region. The mass deportations that Trump promised during the campaign would harm mostly Latin American migrants from Central America and Mexico. Continued denial of a human role in the climate crisis will give more leeway to the actors driving deforestation in the Amazon. If he follows the pattern of his first term, Trump will also intimidate Latin American governments into doing his bidding by threatening tariffs and other policies that may increase poverty. Work to protect human rights and democracy will be more important than ever before. So we will continue to investigate, expose, and advocate against these and other threats.
In America, the President, the Senate, the House, the Supreme Court will be all Republican, the same party. And this has also happened in Poland. So let me give you some examples of what you're in for. Between 2015 and 2023, the ruling party of Poland was PiS. They won the majority and they could do with the country whatever they wanted. One of the biggest things they did was a nearly all ban on abortion. 99% of abortions are banned in Poland. Women are not allowed to take abortions. Any doctor that helps women get an abortion will go to jail if found that they were helping them. So women now have to travel outside of Poland to do these procedures, and if they were found to do that, then again they would go to jail. You are not allowed to get an abortion even if it threatens the mother's life, and there was actually a famous case of when a woman died because she had to give birth to a stillborn. There were actually massive protests in Poland to protest this law. All women went out on the streets wearing black. It was dubbed as a Black Monday, which is basically when women wore black and they refused to go to work, they refused to go to school to protest this law. But despite all this turnout, they still did it. Here is another example. Women went out on the streets in more than 147 cities across Poland, and yet the ruling party still banned abortions. The second thing they did was basically introduce LGBT-free zones because they hated gay people so much. Aside from our president saying gay people are not people, they are an ideology, this is what happened. LGBT-free zones were created and implemented by local provinces, counties, and municipalities. Over 90 municipalities declared an LGBT-free zone. Around half of the country was an LGBT-free zone. And here is the proof. This is what the map looked like. All these red places declared themselves as LGBT-free zones. In the EU, we have this thing where cities partner with other cities in other countries to be like sibling cities. And because of this, so many cities cut ties with Poland. Because of this, the European Commission blocked 150 million euro funds for LGBT-free zones and blocked a 42 billion euro payment from the COVID recovery fund. Of course, America is not part of the EU, therefore they will not have any repercussions if they make any laws like this, therefore they will be fearless. On top of this, newspapers gave out these lovely stickers which businesses could use to declare themselves as an LGBT-free zone. Now, what the ruling party did to achieve this was basically change the judicial system. They made it so that the court was selected by the party and the president so that there will be no blockage of any laws that they wanted to make. This meant that the judges were basically pawns in their game and they could pass any law that they wanted. After eliminating constitutional checks, the government then moved to curtail the activities of NGOs and independent media, restrict freedom of speech and assembly, and reduce the qualifications required for civil service jobs in order to fill these positions with party loyalists. There is always a lot of corruption and embezzlement going on in governments, but with this law, it meant that anyone from the party found guilty of any of this would just be set free. Because again, the judges were selected by the political party, which meant that they would never be found guilty of any of it. This was obviously huge during COVID because a lot of money they took for themselves. They got fake PPE, which actually were not even real companies, all of that stuff. The reason why they were in power for so long is because they wanted to brainwash even more people, so they took over the main TV channels. Think of it like the BBC. We have this broadcasting channel called TVP, which is TVP, and all their main news broadcasting anchors were selected by the ruling party. All day long, 24/7, there was right-wing propaganda in favor of the party, and everything that you could think of negative for the other parties. They wanted to curtail the freedom of speech, so they wanted to ban the most liberal channel, which was TVN. TVN is owned by Discovery Channel, which is an American company, and they believed that this was a threat to the freedom of Poland, the independence of Poland, therefore they wanted to ban that channel. They broke the constitution so many times, they did not care, and because of this, the EU actually fined Poland 1 million euros per day. Do you know who else they hated? Yes, you guessed that right, immigrants. They were so against immigrants and protecting the Polish values that they actually tried to create a referendum to stop immigrants coming into Poland. However, the referendum failed to reach a 50% turnout, which means that the referendum wasn't valid. They, however, created a wall border similar to the border in America between America and Mexico to stop immigrants coming from Belarus into Poland and into the EU. Belarus was basically pushing immigrants through Poland into the EU, and Poland stopped this by building this wall. Some of those poor immigrants were stuck in that space between the Polish army and the Belarusian army, and they were denied humanitarian aid. No one was allowed to enter to help them, and unfortunately a lot of them died. There was a lot more that the ruling party did over the 8 years, but these were some of the biggest controversies around the world that happened. And unless you were a Polish white man living in Poland, your life was probably hell. I know a lot of people don't care about politics, but this result is actually scary, and America actually has a lot of influence on the world and the politics of other countries. So this result is also scary for other countries. A lot of these things happen in Poland after Trump won last time, so just imagine the things that will happen after he just won now.
Trucker John is about to start. So prepare yourself for some titillating conversation.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. You guys can hear me. Give me a nice big old thumbs ups, please. Let me know if this thing's working. Good morning, guys. Hey, good to see you here. Saturday, November 9th. It's 11:29 a.m. in the Pacific time zone in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. I got a thumbs up from Aaron West. Thank you, Aaron. And searched for you. Thanks. First of all, let me just say hi. The chat, it won't let me scroll all the way back to the beginning of the chat. I know. A shout out to Lorraine. Lorraine was first. Lorena, and then Jolie, and then Chad. I just made a mental note of that because I knew that would probably happen. Oops. And if you're hearing a weird noise, it's because I keep either hitting this mic stand with my coffee cup, or I slam it too. I'm not really slamming it, but I'm putting it a little too forcefully. I don't know. I have to be very careful when I put the coffee cup down. Is the point. But anyhow, I just played those videos, and that was not me. And that with the old bold beetle haircut, that was not me. With the Polish accent. I know that it's confusing to some of you, but I thought that was a good video to play to remind us what is happening around the world and the repercussions that this is going to have. A Trump presidency potentially is going to have, and that warning at the end. I think when he says not everyone is political, and that you think? I mean, truer words could not be spoken, and that's kind of my theme of today, of how people just don't give a shit until something actually happens to them. I guess until they actually become the victim or the result of a really bad president or policy or whatever. People don't fucking give a shit. And I base that on, thank you, Chad. I'm just real quick, a $10 thing. Be sure to check people you know are going through sometimes. Thank you, Chad. Those are good words. I'll read that again when I scroll down to it. But thank you for the support. I appreciate it. But my kind of theme for today is that people don't really fucking give a shit, as evidenced by this last election we just had. Now, you and I in this chat, we are fucking we're anomalies. We're anomalies. We are the rare ones. We are the elite when it comes to being involved with politics. And I know almost everybody in this chat, we watch hours and hours of shows every single day. I know you do. I see you in the chats, and I'm there right there with you. If I'm up early enough, I'll listen to Stephanie Miller, and then I listen to Hal. I might listen to the tail end of Tom Hartman. I listen to Randy Rhoads. I listen to Nicole Sandler. I listen to Boston Brian on Sundays. I catch some Texas Paul and Tennessee Brando or whatever every now and then. Other shows, Midas Touch, Tony Michaels. I listen to all that shit. Ojeda. Okay, I listen to and watch them, and I have been doing it for at least 20 years. Not all those shows were on 20 years ago, but you know what I mean. Like 20 years ago is when I started listening to Randy Rhoads and Tom Hartman and that whole kind of Air America lineup. Okay, so you and I in this chat, we are not normal. We are the top 1/10 of 1% probably. And so that's why I think it's really hit a lot of us so hard. We cannot believe the fucking ignorance of the American voting electorate. And now there are people that are actually saying, like, they didn't know voting for Trump was going to get their relatives deported. And they didn't know that voting for Trump is going to possibly bring on a nationwide abortion ban. How fucking ignorant you got to be to not know that? That's what we're dealing with. Mass ignorance. That's when I say the masses are asses. That's what it is. It's mass ignorance. There's a lot of buyer's remorse going on, but it's too fucking late now, people. So now, you know what? If you voted for Trump and you're a Latino or a Hispanic and someone in your family gets deported, I don't give a fuck. You fucking deserved it. You fucking brought that on yourself. Now, that might be cold and harsh, and maybe I'm speaking because I'm angry right now, saying things maybe I'm going to regret. I don't know. I certainly don't want people to get hurt and killed, but there's going to be people that are going to die. The women are going to die because of these fucking abortion bans, and then they tag on to that all this other women's health care. When a woman is just having a fucking miscarriage, that's not an abortion, god damn it. It's a fucking miscarriage. And they can't get the proper help that they need. And they bleed out in the goddamn parking lot. We're going to be seeing lots and lots and lots more of that, unfortunately. And I don't wish that on anybody. And so I'm very tempted to say, if you voted for Trump and someone you know ends up bleeding out in the parking lot, then you deserve it. I'm tempted to say that, but I'm not going to say that, even though I just did kind of say that. But, I mean, that's awful. But is that what it takes for people to fucking learn? Is that what it takes for people to pull their fucking heads out of their asses? Someone close to them, or maybe even, themselves die, but then you're not going to vote after you die. But I mean, is that what it fucking takes? Your wife or your daughter dies over what has been healthcare for decades and decades and decades. Like I've told you this story, and I'll just brush on it real quickly. My mom had at least 3 miscarriages in the 60s and early 70s. If she were alive today and was childbearing age and all that shit, and she did that today, I would, and she was in Texas or Florida or some other back fucking shitwater state, I would do everything in my power to get my mom to California at least. And fortunately, all those, we are from California, our family. And but I mean, is that what it takes? Like, someone in your family is going to have to die before you fucking pull your head out of your ass? Jesus Christ. And I've been driving, for those of you who know me, I'm an Uber driver, former truck driver, 20 years or so. On the road, over the past almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in February. I've been doing Uber. And the day after the election, so I guess that was Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon or whatever, I had 3 passengers that actually asked me about what I thought about the election, and we had conversations. And I normally don't like to have political conversations when I'm driving Uber. I just don't think it's a good idea necessarily. But I have, if someone is open to it and we can have a civil conversation, fine. And on this day, I guess I needed that. I needed to talk, and I needed to talk it out. And I had some pretty good conversations with these three different passengers, and it was all civil and nice, and it was, and I got my points out, and everything. And but to tell you the truth, the people I talked to, they didn't know any of the stuff I was pointing out. They kind of, well, one guy was from England, so I'll give him a pass. He didn't even know how to say Mountain Dew. He kept saying Mountain Dew, and then he corrected himself because I was like, what? Because he was talking about how JD Vance doesn't he like Mountain Dew, and when he said that, I was like, I did one of these things. I was like, what? And he goes, oh no, I mean Mountain Dew. I mean Mountain Dew, and he was English. He said, I mean Mountain Dew. And so I'll give him a pass. I guess they don't apparently have Mountain Dew in England, so I don't know. But anyhow, there did just seem to be the English guy aside, the other two I think were Americans, and they seem to be kind of learning stuff for the first time. And since then, I have the next few days, no one has talked about the election. No one has brought it up. Although last night I did have I think they were brothers. Guys probably about my age, maybe a little bit older, maybe a couple years older. So I'm 64. So a couple of these guys in their 60s, I think they might have been pastors, but they came from an event. They definitely were wine drinkers because they were talking about wine, and they love wine and their love of wine and all this, most of that. But then it veered into Trump, and they were definitely Republicans, dare I say maggots, but they and they were just having their own conversation, and I didn't get involved. I didn't want to get involved with it. I actually was just kind of listening to try to get there, just to hear what they were saying. The one brother said he thought for sure that Trump was going to lose because, and he said because of all the ridiculous things that he'd been doing lately. So I thought he was going to talk about the Puerto Rico comments at the Nazi rally. I thought maybe he would say about the performing fellatio on the microphone, maybe stuff like that. But he said it was because he thought the ridiculous things he had been doing, I think was what was it? It had nothing to do with that. It was like I wish I could have had a better memory, but it was just something like really stupid. And then the other brother said, well, he thought that Trump was going to win. And he was all for it, and they were really happy. Both of them were very, very happy, surprised but happy of the outcome for some reason. And by the way, I did take them, and I figured this is where I knew where we were going roughly, and it turns out, yeah, I took them into a very well gated and guarded housing community of multi-million-dollar homes. So these guys were probably millionaires or something. And they were happy that Trump won. And the other brother who seemed to think that he had a feeling that Trump was going to win or whatever. He really likes Vance. He thinks Vance is great. That he's going to be the sort of the face of the future because he's young. And he's going to run for president after, apparently they think Trump's going to last 8 more years or whatever, but Vance is going to be their next president, and they're all on board with it. I mean, they've got their whole thing all mapped out already. And I know a lot of you in here, I know Kimchi's in here. Hey, Kimchi, by the way. I know a lot of people are saying there's not going to be any elections and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe there won't be. Who knows? I guess we've got to see. But I do think these next 2 years, if we can get to the midterms, which I think we can, and if we can have a big blue wave in the midterms, that will mean everything. If we don't show up and we get our asses kicked, we just keep losing. I don't even know how. Has anyone heard? I haven't heard about the House yet. If we've got the House, but in any case, if we lose the House and lose the Senate in the midterms, and convincingly so, then we're I would say we're really totally fucked. I mean, we're fucked right now. And God bless, bless Hal Sparks, man. I know he comes out and am I the only one? But does it look like he's? I know he's happy, not happy, but he's trying to be positive, and he's trying to keep all of us positive, so we don't go off the deep end. But does it look like he's on the verge of crying at almost any second, and probably been crying off camera? Look, I love Hal Sparks, and I'm thankful for guys like that, people like that I can at least listen to, and I do get my spirits lifted up a little bit. And I'm probably doing the opposite right now, so I apologize if I'm bringing people down. But still, I listen to Hal's stuff, and I'm still saying no, we're fucked, we're fucked, we're fucked, we're fucked. But I guess we can't do that. I mean, we've got to. I should move over a little bit. Let's see which way. I made some new signs. Trump is a felon and Trump is a rapist. I'm proud of those signs. Let's see. Should I move? How far should I move over? I guess so you can really see the sign. Let me get way over. There. All right. So, and you guys can still hear me on the internet's tiniest microphone. It's not how big it is that matters. It's how you use it. Oh yeah, let me go back. I didn't really say hi, and I can't go all the way to the top of the chat. It won't allow me now. But so I missed a lot of your chats, and I apologize, guys. But thank you guys for being here. I see Midas Kevin's here, Teresa TAK, Jeff Curry is here. Got my daughter 19 million volt stun gun. People are, hey, I mean, you see these punks like in the that video getting in your face and all that kind of shit. That's scary shit, man. Aaron West, I'm not in the mood for your closed mind today, Chad. Okay, so yeah, I can't go back. It won't let me go back to where Chad, and I'm on my Fowler's Wrath channel because I can't get all chats on my Trucker John one. Maybe if I go back, real quick. I know Chad had a super chat or whatever, and I didn't see it. Now I can't even see it because it won't allow me to scroll all the way back up, and it was just running the whole time. But see, I can't get all chats when I'm on my channel, which is weird. And I can't even it won't even let me do, because usually there's a thing where you can see where anything that someone has, if someone's done a super chat or super sticker or memberships or that, there's another button I can push, but I can't. It won't let me do that. So I missed it, Chad. I'm sorry I missed it. I did see it real quick, but now I can't see it. It won't let me scroll back up all the way. So I apologize for that. But anyhow, I'll say hi real quick while I can. I'll go as far back up as I can. Here's as far up as I could go back up. It's where Rosanna says we will have no more babies. So just so you know, that's as far back as I can go in the chat. I don't know how long ago that was. They don't timestamp these for some reason. There should be a little timestamp. But so that's where I'm at in the chat. Rosanna says we will have no more babies. You know what? Remember that movie Spike Lee did about, was it called Chicago? It was Chirac or something like that, and it was kind of like, and it was taken, he used like sort of a Greek tragedy, and everything was sort of spoken with this Greek kind of a play type of thing. And also, it's kind of based on a real story, I think, in Africa, where women, I don't know if it was a tribe or a city or whatever, but they started to like kind of, I guess they were tired of, I don't know if it was misogyny, I forget the issue that was going on in this African, it was a country, I forget how big and widespread this was, but this protest was. But they all said, we're not putting out for you, we're not having sex with you. Even if you're my husband, my boyfriend, whatever, I'm not having sex with you until you guys, straighten your act up. And I think they did that kind of in that Spike Lee movie that I was talking about. And I was thinking that the other day. Maybe that's what women have to do. Just say, we're not having sex with you guys until you, and even the good ones, You guys are going to have to suffer along, and maybe you will be a little more vocal and in our cause here. But we're not having sex with you until you guys stop with this bullshit. Maybe that's what needs to be done. I don't know. Kimchi says, I'm a true incel, but just prolonging the grieving because most men are evil, it seems. I hope it's not most men, Kimchi. I hope it's not most men. I hope it just maybe it seems that way because it's so important and it's so what these assholes are doing. It's such an egregious thing. But I don't know. Maybe it is most men. I really don't know. Hey, Brenda Triplets here. Good to see Brenda. Like I said, I can't go all the way back, so I might have missed I'm sure I missed a whole lot of you guys coming into the chat. I don't. If I skipped over you or whatever, please don't take it personally. It's just that's the way it goes, I guess. Bonnie Agliata's here. They know they don't care. So here's Lorraine Sparviaro, who was first in the chat. I did see that, but I can't go back that far up. Says Lorraine says, I do feel bad for the people who will be deported, but honestly, my real fear is for our LGBTQ plus community. They are already trying to remove affirming care for trans. All these groups, all the marginal groups, everyone. I mean, we're all going to be affected in one way or another. But yeah, LGBTQ plus, right out there, women and people of color, because this is going to become, or this could be, one of those papers please, your papers please moments, where just because you look Latino or you are look Hispanic, or it doesn't matter if you were born and raised here, it doesn't matter if you're a second or a third or a fourth generation American, but if you just have whatever the look is, that they might stick you on a bus, stick you on a plane, or stick you in a camp. What uh, and I know, and I think Chad made I don't know if he's still here, if you guys kicked him out or not, or he left, but I saw something, alluding to all this doom spraying, or whatever you call it, is just, I forget what he said, but exactly, but us doing that is just is not really helping our cause, and it's going to just make people give up hope. I guess I think that's what he said. It'll make more people give up hope, and will check out. No, I'm just I'm adding my interpretation to what he said. That people will check out, but I think they've already fucking checked out. Look, I made some pretty bold predictions before the election. I thought Kamala Harris was going to win going away. I could not see her not getting at least as many votes as Joe Biden got in 2020, which was like, what, 81, 82 million, around there. And I didn't mean to flip you guys off now. I'm just adjusting my glasses. I could not see her not getting at least that many votes. She got less. But I think like 10 million less, or maybe more. I don't know what the latest count is. So as far as I know, I haven't looked at the numbers in a few days, actually, but she didn't even win the popular vote. Now, Trump, on the other hand, when I looked at it, had less votes, that he even got less than what he got in 2020. That was a few days ago. Now, the numbers, if votes are still coming in, they're still counting or whatever, maybe he's back up to the same level, but he didn't get a big boost. I mean, he's about the same amount that he had in 2020. Which I thought, and you guys can check the tape. You can go back and look at my videos, and if you do, make sure you like them and give them a thumbs up and share them. But you'll see, I believe I even said I thought that Trump was going to get, way far fewer votes than what he got in 2020, and he didn't. He got at least the same. Maybe it'll go a little bit more, but it's roughly about the same as what he got in 2020. I just figured that if Joe Biden got 81 million or 82 million, I don't see why Kamala Harris couldn't get that. I just did not know there would be such a big drop off. I thought if you were in for Joe, you were in for Kamala, and I was wrong. Apparently, I guess I was wrong. I was wrong. And a lot of those people that didn't vote for Kamala, but they did vote for Joe. I don't think most of those. There might have been some really small number, but I don't think they voted for Trump. I just think they didn't vote because as we see, the Trump number didn't really go up. It stayed about the same. So we had 10 or 15 million or whatever people that voted last time for Joe Biden, and this time they just decided not to vote. I don't really understand that. I don't get that. Talk about stupid. I mean, like, is it that hard to vote? I mean, I know, and I've talked about this before. For me, voting has always been easy. Whether it was in California, actually going to a polling place, I never waited more than 5 minutes, ever. And then I was able to do as a truck driver in California. This is before they had like all the mail-in voting, but you could do absentee. And I was able to do absentee. And so that was really easy. And now in Nevada, it's all mail-in voting. And I can do mail-in. I can go to, it's very, very fucking easy. I fill out the ballot, stick the thing in the envelope. I can put it in the mailbox if I want, or I can go to a drop box and put it there. It's very fucking easy. It's one of the fucking easiest things a person can do. It's very fucking easy. And if you get all hung up, I don't know what judges to vote for, but then don't vote for the fucking judges, okay? All right? But you should know who the president is and who's running for president. You should know that, goddammit. And you should know that Joe Biden has done a fucking excellent job. And that Kamala Harris would be just as excellent. There was no reason to believe, especially if you're a Democrat and you voted for Biden, there was no fucking reason for you to not vote for Kamala Harris. No fucking reason. And I can see the maggots go, well, we don't know what she was about. We don't know what she did. She didn't do anything. That's all maggot bullshit. And they're not going to vote for her anyway. But the ones who voted for Biden and then didn't vote this time, shame on you, you stupid ass motherfuckers. You better either have been dead or in a coma if you didn't fucking vote. All right, I'm venting. Okay? Sorry about that. I'm just making this a vent show, I guess. But it's just frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. And we're all frustrated. But the frustrating thing is, as I was talking about earlier when I was with Uber, after that first day, I had the 3 people ask me about the election. And then last night I had the 2 brothers that ended up talking about Trump and the election to themselves, not with me. Other than that, no one even brings it up. It almost seems like no one even gives a shit. No one fucking gives a shit. Now I realize I'm in Las Vegas and people come here to have a good time. They don't come here to really talk about politics or worry about, they're trying to get away from all that shit probably. They want to come here. They want to do some gambling. They want to see some shows. They want to see the bright lights. They want to see all the shit. They want to see the Strip. They want to see Fremont Street. And so I get that. But all the people, they're not all tourists that I pick up. I would say it's probably about a 70-30 split of 70% out-of-towners and 30% locals. And I haven't seen anyone look like they're even affected by this election. Whereas me, on the other hand, and I know a lot of you guys in the chat, we're bummed out. We are fucking bummed out. Okay, to put it mildly. I'm sorry, I'm trying to adjust this table so the mic's more in front of me, so I don't keep leaning over and blocking my little Trump as a rapist sign that I'm very proud of. And I'm trying to do that and not knock into other things, because I've got my stand there. All right, hopefully that does it. But yeah, you and I hope that's not too loud. We are bummed, to put it mildly. Some of us are depressed. Some of us we're going through all those stages: anger, denial, all that kind of shit. It's affecting us to the point where I don't even. It's like, remember how during the campaign the word joy kept coming up, and when we saw Kamala Harris speak at her rallies, and we saw Tim Harris, I mean Tim Harris, Tim Walz, uh, doing his rallies, joy came up. Joy, 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 joy. And it felt so joyful. It did. And it was like she was going to bring joy back. And we were all so looking forward to that, you know? All of us. It was like, yes, let's fucking bring the joy back. Instead of all this fucking horse shit that Trump does all the time. And it's like Trump is back. And Trump just sucked all the fucking joy right out of the room. There, you know, that's what he does. And so I did make a little, I guess you would call it a meme. Is that what the kids are calling it these days? You know, I mean, I got this little meme here. And that's what Trump does. He just sucks the joy out of everything. That motherfucker. And the day that he stops taking air up in this world will be a better day. I don't, like I say, you know, and Hal says this, I'm not wishing death. I'm not wishing anything like that on him, but we don't live forever. None of us do. And one of these days, this motherfucker's going to croak. And that will be one of the days that it won't be a sad thing. It won't be a sad thing. So anyhow, I've been missing the chat, and I can't go back up. But we got Paul Sharkabani came in. I missed the chat. It won't let me go back. It's not letting me go back. But so here's Chad. It says most of the LGBT community does agree with TIA plus community. I don't even know. Now I don't know what's going on with my chat. It's just everything's disappearing. So I'll skip down. Here's Walter Makarovich. Says, good morning, Trucker John. How about yesterday? Already less than 72 hours from election. Trying to put a bill on the floor to cut Social Security by at least 30%. I didn't see it. I think I heard someone mention that, and I think that's see, that was I'm of that age, and I'm a year away from getting Medicare. And that's the first things I thought was, well, there goes Social Security, there goes my Medicare. And even if they don't eliminate it altogether, they're going to do everything they can to fuck it over. I think it's pretty fucking horrible. And it just gives us an indication of what to look forward to. And if you're an old person like me, and you're Social Security age and Medicare age, and you voted for Trump, shame on you. And you lose benefits, then I guess you got what you deserve. But I don't think I'm getting what I deserve, motherfucker. I'm really upset with my chat. I can't scroll back. So anyhow, like Strange and Scary New England's here. Kimchi Bingo, by the way, I love kimchi. Strange and Scary. I have to read fast because it's going to disappear. Saying something. Okay, Joe Destiny is here. Hey, Joe, good to see you. I don't know what's going on with my chat. It's never done this before, where I can't scroll back. And as the things are falling off the page, I can't go back and read it. So anyhow, that's weird. That's a new wrinkle. Bonnie Agliata says, I'm preparing for the fall, 100 days. Rosanna says, one thing for certain is that we need each other more than ever. Yeah, that's true. That's let's stick together. I've said that before in these past few days. We need to all just stick together and show each other support and love, and try to ride this out. I hope that Kimchi is wrong when she says there's not going to be many more elections, and I hope that that's proves to be wrong. Nick Rich says 11:45, so I'm 16 minutes behind. And I don't know why the chat on here that on my screen is giving me a hard time. Joe Destiny, Olo Amigos, Misfires, 2045 Netherlands. David Windler's here. Good to see David. Kimchi says, be right back, crows. I don't think she's calling us crows. I think she has a bunch of crows in her yard. Strange and very scary. New England says, Kimchi, I'm surprised. Actually, when I bring up Kimchi to people, I know they either look at me sideways or make a gagging face. Jolie says hi to Kevin Midas Kevin Anderson. If I didn't see, it's because I can't scroll back in my chat, and it's just frustrating me right now. Brenda Triplet says Hal has got to feel so much pressure to keep us upbeat. I feel for him. Yeah. Misfire says, Bonnie, it is not elections if the winner is already known beforehand. Deborah Murphy, right now with the GOP learning how and what a tariff is, then trying to stockpile supplies, should we tell them about inventory and the tax amendment? And that's another thing that I was kind of alluding to about how people voted for Trump, and now they're just finding out what tariffs are. The people who voted for him. And it's because mainstream media propped up this motherfucker over here. I mean, we can put a lot of blame on the mainstream media. That is all owned, as people have pointed out, by billionaires. They propped this motherfucker up. They propped that motherfucker up. They let him get away with everything. They let him get away with simulating oral sex on a microphone. If Joe Biden did that, we'd never hear from Joe Biden again, politically. And certainly if Kamala Harris did anything like that, that'd be the end. That would have been the end from that moment. I mean, the double standards are fucking ridiculous. The Republicans, and this isn't just Trump, this has been going on for a long time. The Republican Party, any Republican candidate can get away with fucking murder. When Donald Trump said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, I'd get away with it. And he was talking about like basically his MAGA, following would still follow him. But you know what? I believe he could do that and he would still get away with it. I mean, obviously he's got felony charges, or he's got, all these cases coming up that they're all going to go away now. Just because he won this goddamn presidency. He can get away with doing anything, but God forbid you wear a tan suit, or you win some primaries and you whoop it up a little bit, not to someone's satisfaction, and you're toast. Well, the tan suit, the guy wearing the tan suit was already in, but they still talk about that goddamn tan suit. The double standard is ridiculous, and we can put the mainstream media, I think, towards the top of the list of why people don't vote and why people are ignorant and don't know. They don't know that Donald Trump says that women who have abortions need to be punished. And they don't know that he's promised to put tariffs across the board on everything, including 60% tariffs, I think, on goods from China. And so now there are these fucking gamers that like to buy PlayStations and all this kind of shit. Now they found out that their PlayStations are going to go up 60%, and now they're pissed. Now you're pissed? You stupid motherfuckers? that kind of goes with what I was saying about, does it have to happen? Does something actually have to happen to you before you give a fuck? Before you even give a fuck to stick your head up out of your ass and try to be aware of some shit going on, you know? So in one sense, I'm like, good, I hope your fucking PlayStation costs 60% more. You fucking deserve it. But then all the people who did, you know, that were aware of the situation, they were aware of what an asshole and piece of shit Trump is, who also like to buy PlayStations and game stations or whatever, or gaming devices, then they get screwed over. And that's not fair. Mr. Bob Newell, why are you bummed out? Janelle Walker's here. Hey, Janelle, good to see you. Trump encouraged people not to vote. Tsunami Bits is here. I can't go back. It won't let me go back. Sorry about that. Rob Law's here. Good to see you, Rob Law. But she just conceded in the name of democracy and unity, and now we'll never get another chance. Just because she conceded doesn't mean you can't still count. Tsunami Bit, easy but dumb. Tsunami Bit system is broke. Mr. Bob Newell, you like to say the word fucking. Nick Rich says, John said he expected there would be 16 million more votes for the Dems. That's how many votes are missing. Yeah, I did say that. I my bold prediction was that, you know, I said Biden won by, 8 million and Kamala's going to double that to 16 million. That's why this is so perplexing. In that her rallies were electric and vibrant, and everyone was on fire, and she was filling up huge stadiums and arenas. And Trump's his rallies were getting really pathetic, and people, they could barely get a few thousand people, and people were leaving early because they were bored of his same old bullshit. And then he was just talking and rambling and being incoherent. That's why this doesn't make sense. And the only way I can make sense of it is to come to the realization that the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of the voters they don't know anything. They don't watch the rallies like we do. Like I was saying earlier, we are an anomaly. We watch this shit every single day, hours and hours a day. No one else does that. 99% of the rest of the population does not do that. And then there might be another 20% or people that, they're somewhat knowledgeable and they're somewhat into it. And that's fine. And they probably know enough. They've got enough info to make a good decision, and they know what an asshole Trump is and all that kind of shit. And that Kamala was good, and they know that the economy is going. We have the best economy in the world. We've got some of our best numbers that we've seen in decades going on right now. A lot of people know that, but the rest, the overwhelming majority, probably 75% or 80%, they don't know because they don't care to take the time. They got their fucking faces buried in a fucking video game. And I know there's lots of people that work and they have kids and there's that, but there's a lot of them, they got plenty of time. They just don't choose to spend any time at all on getting to know the issues, getting to know the candidates. And so all they know about Donald Trump is, oh yeah, Donald Trump, he was president before. Oh yeah, and he's this badass businessman from New York. Because they have some sort of notion in their head. Yeah, he's like this like tough guy or whatever. Kamala Harris, and they're like, who's she? Oh, they don't even know who she is. Like, probably like, oh, she was vice president. Yeah, I don't know anything about her. That's the type of ignoramuses we're working with here. And so they vote for Trump, and then they find out that their game stations, their PlayStations, and their gaming devices are going to be $1,000 and up when you could get them for $400 or whatever, Now, so that's what we're dealing with, man. And we're dealing with Russian disinformation. That was still heavy. That didn't stop. That did not stop. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do to combat that? Like I said before, I could either roll up in a ball and just be, a bowl of goo, worthless goo, or I can just try to keep at this, and in my whatever little tiny way I got, my 91 people watching. By the way, we've only got 67 thumbs up, so a lot of people haven't given me a thumbs up yet. And I can try to be a drop in the bucket of trying to get awareness out there. And just pray to God that we can keep our democracy long enough that we can at least get to the midterms and hopefully have a big blue wave in the midterms. That's what I'm hoping. That's where I'm at. There's a lot of you probably in this chat that think that in 2 years from now we won't even have a midterm election, but I think we've got enough in place. We have enough institution, I guess, in place. Democracy. Enough people that we can keep it together for 2 more years, I think. Bonnie Aguilera, John, you won't go away. It's going so fast, and like I said, I can't scroll back up. Rob Bell says, fuck the mainstream media, sane washing him so they could still be relevant if he won. And they wanted the dog race. Because what did we do on Tuesday night? We all tuned in. I tuned into MSNBC. Everyone tuned in to some channel to watch the election results, and we were there with rapt attention on pins and needles, because even though a lot of us thought that Kamala Harris was a shoo-in, even Republicans, a lot of Republicans thought she was going to win. But we knew what happened in 2016, and we were still nervous. And so we watched, and then as we saw the results coming in, and it wasn't looking good. And then we heard people like Hal Sparkle, don't worry about it. This is the same thing that happened in 2020. And it's this, then eventually even Hal was like, oh, this isn't looking good. But we watched in huge numbers. And that's what they do. That's why they want to make it a dog race. Because if it was, from the get-go, and they were just really honest about Trump, and they weren't giving him any latitude. They weren't, like, for all of the stupid shit he did, they just called it out and go, yeah, look at that. That's pretty stupid. And they played all of his fuck ups on a loop, like they do if Kamala Harris has a laugh they don't like, they'll play the shit out of that. But Donald Trump on the mainstream media, how many times did you see anything? That he did. At the end they kind of did play the fellatio thing or whatever, but. I don't know. They just gave him way too much latitude. They let him get away with so much stuff. They put him up on the pedestal, and they wanted it to always seem like it was an even race, so that come election night they're going to get a gazillion eyes on their station, right, on their channel. And then they can sell advertising for a lot more money. That's all it's about. That's all they care about. These channels, these cable networks, broadcast networks are all owned by billionaires and billionaire corporations, and all they give a fuck about is the bottom line. And hey, look, I have no problem with people making profits, and you're running businesses, and you're trying to make money. I have no problem with that. But you got to have some ethics and some morals along the way, and they have none. These networks, they have none of that. No ethics, no morals whatsoever. It's all about money. It can't be just all about money, no matter what. Like I said, if I owned a business, yeah, I want to make money. I want to make profits, and I want to grow the company and whatever. But I'm not going to lose my morals and ethics along the way. And these companies, they have no morals. Apparently, they're people. Citizens United says that the corporations are people, but they are soulless, moralless, ethicless people. Apparently. Clover's here. Clover says, what are your thoughts about the states that voted for abortion rights and voted for him? Well, that's what I was talking about. And by the way, it looks like non-useful with a super chat. Thank you, non-useful. I better see it before it disappears. It says World War III is coming and Trump is the catalyst. Trump will force our country to remain neutral. It won't work. A draft is coming. Major military resignation is going on. God help us. Thank you for that $10 super chat. I do appreciate you, non-useful. Thanks a lot. And I have touched on that previously too about how this could spark World War III, especially if Trump abandons Ukraine, and if that's going to turn the tide, and that allows Russia to just steamroll right on through Ukraine, and then what's to stop them from wanting to go to Poland or go to some other neighboring countries there, and then Europe has to try to defend and fight them off, and then it sparks World War III. And then what would Trump do? Is Trump is buddies with Putin, so that's his buddy, that's his pal. And then what? We're going to take the side of Russia against the rest of the world? We are, and someone said this, we are now a part of the axis of evil. Now, I don't know if all those things are going to come true, but they are legitimate fears. The things that non-useful said there, I don't know if that's going to actually happen. None of us will know until it does, I guess. But that's a legitimate fear, and that was one of my very first things that I thought of. I see Fancy's in the chat. Grant Johnson here. Vampires have nothing. Yeah, I can't read these because I have to go down. It just keeps disappearing. Eileen Cause here. Hi, Eileen. Good to see you. Tamara Price is here. Fancy's here. That's Garland's fault. I know we put a lot of blame on Garland for going too slow. General Putnam 2 is here. Hey, General Putnam, good to see you. General Putnam says, just found this. What the hell happened to 20 million dim voters? I know, we were talking about that earlier. Like I said, that Trump's numbers are about the same as 2020, I think. As far as, I'm just looking at the popular, not breaking it down to state by state, but in the Electoral College. But when you look at the total popular vote, it looks about the same. Kamala Harris, way under what Biden got. Way under. And that's what struck me. Like I said earlier, I didn't see that coming. I thought if she would get as many votes, at least as many votes. I did go out and say she's going to get twice as many as far as being over what Trump got. But I thought she would at least get that 81, 82 million that Biden got. I did not see that her numbers would drop by 10 or 15 million or whatever, or 12 million or whatever people are saying it is. Because I don't know if we know yet, because they're still counting California. I guess they're still counting other states, and even though the outcome is already, it's not going to change the outcome, but they're still counting. So the final vote, I don't know what it is, but it looks like Kamala Harris came in way, way under what Joe Biden got, and I did not see that. That's the part that really took me by surprise. I didn't know there'd be such a fall off, and I don't get why. Other than what we've been talking about the mainstream media and the right wing media, Russian disinformation, all that, getting out there and saying what a lousy, crappy economy we have. And that eggs are so expensive, and milk is so expensive, and gas is so expensive, and it's all Joe Biden's fault. And Kamala Harris is just going to be just like Joe Biden. That was the message, and it got out, and it worked. Apparently, it worked so that people who voted for Biden weren't going to vote for Kamala Harris because they believed all this bullshit about how horrible the economy is. Even though, and let me see, do I have that meme? I had another meme. Well, here's this one. I forgot to crop it, but let me just make it so big it kind of crops it. That's from Occupy Democrats. It says, as of today, inflation 2.1%, unemployment is 4%, GOP 3%, manufacturing is booming, and is only going to get better. So this is what this is Bidenomics. This is Bidenomics. But a lot of people didn't see that. They heard that the economy is horrible, and they believed it because of the price gouging that is not anything to do with Joe Biden. That has to do with corporations who own these big supermarket chains, price gouging, because A, they're greedy, because they were making record profits, and B, I think because they want to make Joe Biden look bad because they're all owned by billionaires, and billionaires, they don't like Democrats no matter what. No matter how it's proven over and over and over and over and over again that economies do better with Democrats in charge. Our economy in America always does better when the Democrats are in charge, and it always does shittier, and it ends up busting and ends up, going into recessions and going and markets bursting, housing markets bursting, all this kind of shit. It's always under Republicans. And the Democrats clean it up and get it going and get it moving good. Obama did it. Clinton did it. Obama did it. And Biden did it. They all cleaned up after Republican messes and got us into really strong economies to be the envy of the world. We've been the envy of the world many, many times. And we are the envy of the world right now. Well, at least a week ago. Because our economy is so good and so strong. But there are a lot of people that didn't get that message for some reason. And I think it's a lot of Russian disinformation permeating through the internet, through social media, and then right-wing media like Fox News and Newsmax and all those assholes just repeating and regurgitating all the Russian talking points. And then our mainstream media that's supposed to be, I thought, was supposed to be objective, right? If you're doing a news show, you're supposed to be, if it's news, it's supposed to be objective. If you're doing talk shows, that's different. Talk shows are talk shows. They're full of opinions. I'm not sure if a lot of these people even differentiate between a talk show and news, but they're different. Like right now, I would say this is a talk show. This is me talking, and I'm giving my opinions about a lot of things. I'm not doing news. I mean, I might say something that's from the news, and I will say things that are factual, but still, this is still my opinion, and this is my slant. I guess, or my biases are in here. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't have biases, but I try to be as truthful and factual as I can. But a lot of these people, they didn't get that message, and so it goes on to say, economic boom. If it's an economic boom, if you're about to credit Trump, was brought to you by Joe Biden, and when it crashes, that will be 100% on Trump. And I saw another meme similar to this that was saying that when it all goes to shit, after Trump becomes president and he trashes the economy again, he's going to give big tax breaks to the rich. He's going to increase our debt again by trillions and trillions of dollars, and he's going to crash the economy. We're going to get high inflation again, all that kind of shit. That should be called Trumponomics. I think that's what they said, Trumponomics. So just remember that. Remember, let's do that. We'll hashtag Trumponomics. When it all goes to shit, and it will. I said earlier in an earlier show, I think it might take a couple years, and now some people are saying it would be like within the first year or whatever. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But at some point, Trump is going to crash. He's going to crash this economy. He's going to take this fucking economy that we have that is humming along. It's doing really great. Everyone in the world wish they had an economy like ours right now that we have. And Trump is going to fuck it all up. And when he does, that will be known as Trumponomics. Aight? Kimchi says, hi, Juno, we should be screaming. Freevent28, apologies for getting mad at Tsunami. Yeah, I've missed a lot of the chat. I'm not seeing the chat is just rolling along, and I'm not. Usually, I can scroll back, but it won't let me scroll back. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube. They're doing new things to my, at least from my point of view here, that have never been done before. Bonnie Ugliata says, "I don't want to be right." Right. Kalahela, FKM, which I guess means fuck them. Now they can fuck around and find out. Yeah, and I've been saying that too. But the thing about that is that it's not just affecting them. Like if we're talking about people who voted for Trump, and we're talking about even the ones who are now having regrets or they're finding out what Trump is about. My thing is, yeah, you fucked around. Now you're going to find out. The sad part about it is that it's going to affect me and it's going to affect you also. We're all going to be affected. We're all going to be fucked. And we didn't fuck around. I mean, we did the right thing. We voted for Kamala Harris. We voted for reproductive rights. When you vote for Kamala Harris, you vote for reproductive rights. You vote for, women's bodily autonomy. You vote for green new energy and getting us off fossil fuels. You voted for, better healthcare access. You voted for things like new home buyer programs that would help new home buyers with a $25,000, I think, down payment or whatever. You helped small business, entrepreneurs that wanted to start small businesses and getting them to get a $50,000 tax credit or whatever. All these type of things. That's what you voted for when you voted for Kamala Harris. We did the right thing, but because a lot of these fucking ignoramuses voted for Trump, and now they're finding out, oh wait, I'm going to get deported, or my family's going to get just because I have brown skin and I was born and raised here, I might get deported, or I have family members who aren't citizens, now they're going to get deported, and I voted for Trump. My reaction is, yeah, you fucked around, now you're going to find out. But the sad thing is, it's going to affect all of us. We didn't fuck around. I mean, we did the right thing. Janelle Walker's here. Good to see Janelle. Superdome cell phones will be out of control too. Chad Bostic says the bad economy hurt a lot of people, and that was their motivating factor. What bad economy? Do you not remember COVID? And we came out of COVID, and it took a couple of years, but Joe Biden got jobs. He got high-paying jobs. He got manufacturing to come back. He reduced inflation by over 7% from what it was in just a couple short years. GDP 3%. GDP was right where economists say that's a good one. That's good to be right around 3%, and we're there. Unemployment's low. Wages are up. Fuck you, Chad. I love your $10 thing, but you say some stupid shit. If people think they have a bad economy, it's only because they're being told they have a bad economy, and they're taking whoever said that word for it. We don't have a bad fucking economy. Paul Sharky says, gotta go, TJ and my friends, stick together and don't change the way you think about what is right. Well, thanks, Paul. I appreciate you coming here and hanging out with us for a bit. And you take care also, my friend. Rob Law says, I ran into a MAGA guy last week who didn't know about the Ratburger call. I guess Ratzenberger. Yeah, 11,780. They have no idea. They have no fucking idea. I know. That's what I've been saying. We know this shit. We know about the calls. We know about the Bob Woodward tape when he said, I'm intentionally, downplaying it or whatever. We know about that shit. But, tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of people that voted in this past election, they don't know any of that shit. It's amazing. And Taylor Swift came out and she supported Kamala Harris, and then there was immediately there was like 800,000 new registrations for voter registrations and all this stuff. It didn't amount to a hill of beans. I guess it's one thing to be registered, but maybe those Swifties should have pulled their heads out of their asses and found out the issues and spread that around to all their friends. I mean, what the fuck were they doing? Okay, they registered. Did they vote? And if they, I'm sure they voted. If you were a Swiftie and Swiftie's coming out, Taylor Swift is coming out, and she's advocating for Kamala Harris, I can't imagine a Swiftie registering to vote and then voting for Trump. So I guess I shouldn't be trashing the Swifties. But the point is that there was so much excitement, so much voter registration going on. They raised over $1 billion in campaign contributions, on and on and on and on. And all that got them was 10 to 15 million fewer voters than Joe Biden got in 2020. Now, I have heard a lot of people say that she only had 3 months, and if she had the entire campaign time period, that would have made the difference. If she had been out, Trump's been doing this for 2 years. He threw his hat in the ring as soon as he got that early indictment from 2 years ago. And if Kamala Harris had been in the race ever since the first primaries, like a year and a half ago or whatever it was, then that may have made the difference. That would apparently it takes longer than 3 months for people to do a goddamn Google search and search some of the fucking issues or something, and and get reliable sources and do some cross checking, do a little cross checking. Don't just the first thing that pops up if it's fucking from Newsmax, But you don't want to do that, but still, I mean, how much fucking time do you need? 3 months. And I don't give a fuck. I know. And the only ones I hear saying this are the right wingers when they'll say, well, not one Democrat voted for her in the primary. Well, she was on the ticket. It was the Biden-Harris ticket. And the reason they have a ticket is if something happens to the person who's on the top of the ticket, then the person that's on right below them takes over. And that's what happened. Joe Biden, however you want to say it, he was pressured out. He decided, okay, I'm going to step down, and I think justifiably, I think he made the right decision because I guess he could have ran again, and then stepped down after the election if he won, and then do it that way. I guess he could have done it that way. But you know what? Hindsight's 2020. Hindsight is 2020. And I think that Joe when you're that age, the difference between being 78 and 80 and then 80 to 82 can be a pretty vast difference. And I think Joe still has all his mental faculties and all that, but he looks slower. He talks slower. He's raspberry. So what I'm saying is, the optics do matter. But then you look at this motherfucker, and you're like, what's so optically pleasing about that motherfucker? I mean, So I don't. I guess there are arguments against that. I don't see any positive optics when I see Trump. I see a guy who can barely walk, barely stand, and can barely hold a thought in his fucking head. But we all, and I know we have people of all ages in this chat, but we have a lot of people in their 50s and their 60s and their 70s in this chat. I'm in my 60s. I'm now in my mid-60s. I can't do the same shit that I could do even just a few years ago in my 50s, let alone my 20s or 30s. I mean, right? So I think that because people are saying that Joe was supposed to be, and that he said he was just going to be a one-term president and like a transitional president or whatever, and that then he decided to run for re-election and that he shouldn't have done that. I think that's a lot of hindsight there. I mean, at the time when he decided to run for re-election, I think the economy was starting to turn around. It was they were getting all these Chips and Science Act, Inflation Reduction Act. The Bidenomics was showing results, good results. I think the party wanted him at that time. And I think that they didn't want to change horses in midstream and all that kind of shit. So for people to go back now and say, "Oh, he should have quit," or he should have said he wasn't going to run for re-election, well, that's a bunch of poppycock. Because go back 2 years ago, Joe seemed fine. And Bidenomics was booming. The boom was already starting. But I think when you're that old, things can change really quick. And I think campaigning was wearing him down. Going flying around, I think took its toll on him. And then he got sick right during the debate, and he looked really bad. And that did it for him. Because the optics of that, it did not look good. I remember watching it and going, this does not look good. So he could have stayed. He could have tried to stay, but he had even Pelosi, everybody, even Adam Schiff, everyone was kind of suggesting that he needs to step down. He was losing his own support from his own party, like people in the party, prominent people. So he was kind of forced out in a way. But I do think that it would have been tough for him to do the campaigning that he needed to do. But I don't know. But let's say he ran. If he would have ran, and then would he have still gotten the 82 million votes that he got last time? And would that be spread around in the correct ways to win that electoral college, to win the states you need to win, swing states? I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll really never know. And then he could have won the presidency, and then after he was in for a little bit, said, "You know what? I'm not feeling too good." It's like Forrest Gump. "I'm not feeling good. I'm gonna go home now." And then we could have got Kamala Harris in that way. But I don't know. It's just, if you remember what happened, he really was getting pressure from all sides to step down. And then, but he said, if I do this, it's got to be Kamala, because he had faith in her, and I think it was warranted to have that faith in her. She did a magnificent campaign, and she's campaigned like no one I've ever seen before. And maybe it just just wasn't long enough. Even if it had been 6 months instead of 3 months, maybe, but who knows? I guess we're always going to wonder. We're never going to know. It's just like the people who say that Bernie would have beat Trump instead of Hillary. I don't think we'll ever know that either. We can believe that, and believe you me, I was a big Bernie bro. Not Bernie bro in the sense that, like I was Bernie or nothing, because I voted for Hillary, and I was very happy to have Hillary be our president once she was the nominee. But I voted for Bernie, and I loved Bernie, and I think Bernie would have beat Trump, but we'll never know because it didn't happen. We'll just never, ever know. But now, so here we are. Here we are, stuck with this motherfucker again, sucking all the joy out of the air, out of the room. That's what he does. He's a joy sucker. And I'm just hoping that we can make it through the next, at least get us to the midterms. And if we can get a big blue wave, then we can save democracy, I think. And then we can hopefully get the White House back in 2028. And I was sort of surmising or whatever that maybe Kamala could run again, but I don't know. She might, she puts so much into this. I don't know. Who knows? And someone said she might run for governor of California. So I don't know. But of course, all the names are popping up. And then, like, Kimchi or whatever says we're not even going to have elections in 2028. So, but we'll we have to prepare as though they are going to be. There are going to be free and fair elections, in 2026 and in 2028. We can't just say, it's not going to be. It's not, so anyhow, but let's get to 2026. Let's prepare all. Let's try this, all of us in this chat, in whatever way we can, whether it's the sharing videos, sharing the Trucker John show, sharing Hal Sparks, sharing Randy Rhodes and Tom Hartman, and Brian Tyler Cohen, who's really great. And I like him. Luke, what's Luke's name? Luke, the kid. I call him the kid. Luke and the other kid, Adam. Right? Those guys are great. Those guys are fucking great. Share their videos with everywhere you go. Share my video, please. And I mean, let's try in whatever way we can to chip into that ignorance. It's just ignorance. Ignorance. Doesn't sound right when I say it. People are just ignorant about who Trump is, what Trump is about, even what Republicans are about. They're ignorant about all this deportation, mass deportation. We think everyone knows because, like I said, we watch this shit every day. So we just think everybody knows. They don't. Let's make sure that we scream from the rooftops that Republicans want nationwide abortion bans. And what that means and how that's going to be killing women. Let's let everyone know that. Because even these gamers, most of them are in the basement of their mother's houses. I know that's a gross overgeneralization. I shouldn't be doing that. But I mean, they have moms, right? No one wants their mom or their sister, and if they might have wives. Okay, I should stop with that stereotype. But who wants their loved one to bleed out because they can't get health care because the doctor is afraid if they treat them that they'll not only lose their medical license, but they'll be thrown in jail. And also, I'd like to say to the doctors out there, grow a fucking spine. Do no harm. Honor your oath, your Hippocratic oath, for God's sakes. And if you lose your medical license, you lose your medical license. You know what? Eventually, Texas won't have any fucking doctors. And then what are they going to do? Texas and Louisiana and those places, they won't have any fucking doctors if they keep locking them up. And eventually, they're going to have to reverse that. And they're going to have to reinstate your medical license. Because there's not going to be any doctors. Because when Greg Abbott goes into a doctor's appointment, there's not going to be any fucking doctors for him. And King Paxton goes into a doctor's appointment, there won't be any doctors because they're all locked up. So you fucking doctors, and I know you guys, and I know I'm painting with a big broad brush here, and it's probably I'm kind of talking out my ass right now, I guess. And it's anger. This is anger, but still, it might come to that where doctors and nurses and medical professionals are going to have to violate the law so they don't violate the Hippocratic Oath. Something to think about, doctors and nurses and medical practitioners. OBGYNs or whatever. Something to think about. You might have to fucking, you might have to make a sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice your medical license and you might have to sacrifice your freedom. But this is like a war. We're in a fucking war. And sacrifices have to be made. I mean, God knows you guys made sacrifices during COVID. A lot of you died. Mike H says Joe Biden didn't help anything. Is Mike H going back to the other side now? Nick Rich says the U.S. economy is the best economy ever in the history of the world, even after COVID and the global inflation. Absolutely, Nick. The U.S. economy, the biggest, richest economy in the history of economies. And Joe Biden, his policies is what turned us around from coming out of COVID, having supply chain issues, having that supply side shock that caused the high inflation spike. Joe Biden's policies got us out of that. Now, okay, Joe Biden's not an economic expert. Probably he delegates. He gets the experts. He gets the information, and he looks at it and compiles it or whatever. Or I don't know if he compiles it, but he's like, yeah, this is where we're going to go. This is what we're going to do. He's the one that pulls the trigger on. Okay, this is where we're going to take this policy. What does Donald Trump do? He hires, first of all, he puts mainly idiots around him that are just sycophants, just people that just say what they think Trump wants to hear. He doesn't read anything. If it doesn't have, if it's not like a picture book, he won't look at it. Because the man's a fucking moron. So you want to sit there and say Joe Biden didn't do anything? Well, fuck you, Mike H. Slither on back over to your fucking right-wing roots. Joe Destiny says, but the admin did nothing. Okay, I'm kind of mid-thread here in some of these conversations, so I'm not going to comment because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Bonnie Thompson is here. I shop at majors. I've seen those stores. Midwest mainly, I think. Alistair Voss says, if they said that it's not to be believed, electing Trump is leaving the conflict in Bibi's hands. Oh, so we're talking about Gaza, and that's just what's going to take place. Trump will arm them, and that's that. Trump will let Bibi Netanyahu, how did he say it? Get the job done? I believe he said. What does that mean? Get the job done. Doesn't sound like you should try to take care and not kill so many civilians and not have so much collateral damage. Doesn't sound like that to me. It sounds like he's just saying, yeah, go in there and kill them all and let God sort them out. Joe Destiny, imagine this raised the minimum wage for the first time in 15 years. Mike H. Alvin, I'm talking about him calling people garbage. Kimchi says Hitler did not take the guns first. He's threatening or firebombs every newspaper in the country. Then he made everyone sign pledges, then let them have guns or death. Aaron West says, my friend was refused at the polls because he only had a temporary North Carolina ID. He hadn't gotten his permanent one in the mail. He had his passport and proof of North Carolina residency and everything. Alistair Voss says the wars will end with a lot of collateral damage. Now the U.S. is going to war with the Mexican cartels, and illegal immigrants are bargaining chips, hence the camps. I haven't heard about that, going to war with the cartels. I have not. That's the first I'm hearing of it. Chad says, see Kimchi, voter fraud does happen on both sides. Voter fraud is such a small thing that it's not. It's more statistically closer to zero than it is even to 1%. But what I talk about when I talk about election fraud or election tampering, that's different than voter fraud. We're talking about the voters. We're talking about elections, widespread elections. We're talking about disinformation campaigns where lies are put out in such a way that they seem truthful, and they do it in such vast numbers, that people will think it's true. Okay, to me, that's an election fraud. That's election tampering. Oliver Brownlow's here. Alvin Stube. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. It's just humming by, and I can't scroll back up. Search for you says John. We're not going back. Yeah, let's not. As much as Trump wants to go back to the 1850s Let's not get on that train. Dana Darden's here. Hey, Dana, good to see you. Dana says, I'm trying to hang on until 120. I'm planning a dramatic and political exit from this nightmare. Well, Dana, don't do anything harmful. Don't do any self-harm or anything like that. You don't need to do that. We're going to hang on. And like I said, like people have said, we need to stick together. We need all of us in this chat and all the groups that we hang out with. We need to hang together, and we need to give everyone support, moral support, and just virtually hold hands. Like I've said in these past few days, I've been saying this. We can virtually hold hands, and we can virtually hug each other. And if you have groups, real life groups, do that too, and get some real life contact, and get and do lots of hugging and lots of hand holding for real. And if you have a group of people, it's good to have a support group, and you're all like minded, and we can commiserate with one another, but we don't need to do anything that's like harmful to anyone else or to ourselves physically, right? I'm not for that. So let's hang in there. We got to stay in the fight, or else we're giving them what they want. They want us to quit. They want us to bow out. They want us to just go away. And we got to tell them, we're not going away, motherfuckers. We're not going away. We're still here. Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you, MAGA. We're still here. We ain't going nowhere. And we're going to fight this to our last breath. But don't do anything self-harmful or anything like that. Don't give them, that's what they want. Don't give them what they want. Misfires is here. Misfires says, Trumpists don't care. They do what they do and then find someone else to blame for results. Chad Boswick says, everything is going to be right. All right, guys. There's nothing in this world worth taking you away from your family and friends. Chad and I come from opposite sides here, but I mean, I do agree that, I do have hope. I still have a ray of hope. Let's not lose our hope. And right now, I guess I'm putting hope in 2026 now. And I'm putting hope into whatever tools we might have between now and then. If we can win the House, I don't know. I haven't heard the outcome on that yet, but we need to, like I say, not go away, not disappear. Do whatever we can to get the truth out. Get the truth out. Don't let the mainstream media and the right wing or string, the right wing media and the mainstream media, which I think are two different things, but they do sort of work together. I think the mainstream media, I think, is definitely just, they want the dog race, and they will, do whatever they can do to keep that dog race because they want viewers and they want ratings. Right-wing media, they want ratings and money too, but they definitely have an agenda, and they've been, created by the right wing to be their propaganda arm. So we need to be the left wing propaganda arm in a way. That doesn't sound right, but because I don't believe in propaganda, I believe in the truth. Let's just work on having some integrity, and let's try to be as objective. I try to be objective as I can. Some people say, I've heard even journalism teachers, when I took journalism classes in college, would say that it's impossible to be objective. That reporters and newspapers, that it's impossible to be objective. And to that I say bullshit, because we have intelligence and we have minds and we can report objectively. I know we all have our biases and we all have our point of views and we all have our backgrounds and our life experiences, and that all can shape how we look at things. But I do believe you can be objective in reporting. And I was a newspaper reporter for a little while. And a newspaper, I was a stringer. I never really had a byline, but I was a stringer. And I did do some newspaper writing in the late 90s and early 2000s for a newspaper that had a circulation, I think, of like 300,000 or something. So, and it was mainly sports, but I did cover some town hall stuff and some little bit of political stuff. And I was able to interview some people, and I did interviews. And I think I was very objective. And I know that I was interviewing Republicans because a lot of times it would be like a mayor, and mayors are it's a nonpartisan office. But you know who the Republicans are, and you know who the Democrats are. But I believe I was able to do that objectively. And I think you can be objective. And so we don't need to copy, Fox News or Newsmax or RSVBN or whatever. We don't need to copy all that bullshit and be totally in the tank for anyone. All we need to do is be objective and get the truth out there. And that should be enough. That should be. Nick Rich says 12:30 in Las Vegas, so I'm about 28 minutes behind in the chat here. Chad says, "Hey, Strange, I get out plenty, and I see that prices are still out of control, regardless of inflation being 2.1% as compared to 2 years ago. What about 4 years ago?" Yeah, 4 years ago. I don't know. You could look it up. What was it 4 years ago? Was inflation 6%? You're coming off of a inflation spike off of COVID. Whatever. It's been proven that the high prices are mainly due to price gouging, which means that the corporations, the big, Kroger and all this shit, they're making record level profits, and yet they are raising their prices. Now, supposedly, I thought I read an article a few weeks ago that they were bringing prices down. And so maybe Chad is behind the times here, but they were making record profits, and they still raise prices on top of that. It's called price gouging. That's not Joe Biden's fault, by the way. That's Kroger's fault. And in spite of that, inflation still fell to 2.1%. And I don't think that prices are out of control. I buy milk for $2.99 a gallon over here at Albertsons. I get 2% milk. It costs $2.99 a gallon. Is that out of control? I buy an 18 carton of eggs the other day. I was, what was it? $4.99 or $4.39 or something? I don't know. I mean, that doesn't seem out of control to me. I don't buy gas because I drive a Tesla, but I saw our gas here is at regular unleaded. I think it was $3.89 a gallon. Maybe that's high because you live in some shit-stained fucking part of the country, and maybe your gas is $2.10 or $2.50. I don't know. Good for you. It's $3.89 here, and that doesn't seem out of control. Yeah, we would like it to be $3 or $2 or $1. I remember when gas was 35 cents when I was a kid. Okay, it's $3.89 for regular unleaded here in Las Vegas, and that was somewhere off the strip. Out of control? Really? You think it's out of control? $2.99 for a gallon of milk, for something for an 18 carton. I think it was $4.99 for it. That's not a dozen. That's an 18. That's an 18 carton. I think it was $4.39 or $4 something. I forget. That's out of control? Fuck you, man. Fuck you, Chad, for continuing that fucking bullshit. Chad says, "Okay, Strange, what about insurance costs?" Well, That's the insurance company. Utility costs, gas costs. They all the same company as well. I haven't seen utilities go up that much. I haven't seen. I don't know. I don't buy insurance because car insurance because I get it. I mean I do buy it. I get it automatically. I mean I do pay because I'm doing a weird. I'm not typical. I do a rental and I use that for my business, my Uber driving business, and so I get the insurance through Hertz. It's $100 a week, so that's expensive. But that's a whole different situation. That's not your typical situation. When I was getting car insurance with my Cadillac, I think I was paying. I think I just had basic insurance and stuff. What was it like? 500 and something bucks a year or something. I don't know. Hey, non-useless is $5. You think coffee is expensive now? Wait until it goes up another 10%. Yeah, wait until those tariffs hit, Chad. Okay, as shitty as you think the economy is now, just wait till Trump gets in there. All your shit is going to go up at least 25% probably. Now, non-useless is 10%. He's supposedly doing 25% across the board, 60% for goods from China. So, Chad, you think it's bad now? You ain't seen nothing yet. When your fucking buddy Trump there comes in here and fucks everything up. Talk about fuck around and find out, Chad. Well, you done fucked around and you're going to fucking find out. All your medications, all your medical shit, all that shit. 25% across the board. And are you going to blame Biden for that? That's what I'm wondering. Maybe not Chad, but how many people are going to try to blame Biden? We're going to be 2 years into the Trump presidency, and things are going to hit the fan. Shit's going to hit the fan. Prices are going to be outrageous. You talk about we're talking about 2.1%, and comparing that to when a couple years or whatever, we're going to be seeing inflation. Who knows what it's going to be? We might be up 20%, 30% inflation. Are you going to? Is everyone going to blame Biden for that 2 years from now? Are you kidding me? Do you see how ridiculous you sound, Chad? Bonnie Thompson is here. Good to see you. I know I've skipped a lot of the chats. Polar Vortex is here. Let's face it, people who would vote a rapist, fraud, felon are just blank, fill in the blank. Yeah, and I've got a friend now, Facebook friend that I knew back in college, but I didn't really know her very well. But it's one of those things where like we're on Facebook, and a lot of the alma mater people from your alma mater, you sort of you friend, and you. So over the last 20 years or so, we've been Facebook friends, and I know that she's like a Republican. I wouldn't say she's MAGA or anything like that, but just she's a nice person. She's married to a guy that I actually worked with at a gas station when I was in high school, and I knew him, and he's a nice guy, great guy. And just going by their Facebook account, seeing the pictures and videos they posted, looks like they've had a great life, great family. They've got grandchildren, and this the whole thing, right? And they're really nice. And she does videos on Facebook and on YouTube. She does a lot of like homemaking stuff or like recipes and cooking stuff and sort of like life hacks and stuff like. Very nice lady. She's really lovely. But I posted the other day. Let's see. I think I have it in here. I posted. Was it yesterday? I guess I don't have it in my little library here. Yeah, I don't have it. But anyhow, I posted the thing about like how like if you voted for Trump, he's been convicted of all these crimes, and it's like you don't have any morals or something like that. I forget the exact thing. And then I added to it. I put Trump as a rapist, Trump as a felon, all that kind of stuff, like I have here. And then she saw it. I think it was on Instagram, because when you post stuff on Facebook, it like automatically goes to Instagram. And then she kind of came to the defense, because obviously she voted for Trump, so she's going to defend people who voted for Trump, basically. And she's doing that by saying that like the E. Jean Carroll, that basically by trashing E. Jean Carroll and saying that she's like, you know, wrote a book and like she's against men or she's against sex, and she's had a lot of other claims in her book of all these other men who either attempted to rape her or raped her or sexually assaulted her, and that this has happened a whole bunch of times. Like she's saying that way more than I guess a typical woman would be assaulted in her life. I don't know. She's trying to basically sort of victim shame, and I didn't respond. I haven't responded to it. I'm just going to let it go, I guess. But I don't know. Because I just read it before, basically this morning. And I was sort of prepping for the show here, and I was trying to eat breakfast and all that stuff. But, and I'm not sure where I was going with all this, but it was based on something I read in the chat. But I guess the point is that people try to justify their vote, and they will come to the aid of Donald Trump, or they will defend Donald Trump at the expense of trashing the victims or whatever. And I think it's pretty sad. I think that's pretty sad, and it's sad to see. But Misfire says, doesn't matter, Spock. Every step in between makes it more expensive for the endpoint, but now Canada will benefit. I'm mid thread here on some of these chats here. I'm just sort of cherry picking. Supernormer says Bernie was and is the FDR of our generation. Well, he would have been if he was president, probably. Clover says, surprised that Putin accepted Trump's peace plan. I haven't heard about that. Mr. Spock, we will make it. Oh, no. Jump. This was a problem. Chad Bosick says, we will make it through the next 2 years together, even if we have different opinions. Search for you. I want my Social Security and Medicare. Yeah, see, that's the first thing they're attacking. Terry S., that is what I am worried about too, Polar Vortex. Let me skip on down a little bit here. I know I'm way behind in the chat. Non-mutual, he's going to tax the shit out of us to pay for his 15% corporate tax giveaway. And, Trump said, you guys are going to have to hurt. It's going to be painful. You're going to have to, go through some pain. But it's all for the good of the billionaires. So just rest assured in that. Aaron West says, Liberal Dan. Is Liberal Dan here? Is Liberal Dan in the chat? If he is, I'd like to say hello. So I guess I should say it. Hello. And if you're not here, hello anyhow. Yeah, Luke Beasley. This is how far behind I am. I was talking about Beasley like a half an hour ago. So guys, sorry I'm so far behind in the chat. Search for you. I deleted my Twitter and got Blue Sky. Oh yeah, who was talking about that? Marcy Wheeler, right? I'd never heard of it really, and then she was on Nicole Sandler's show yesterday, and she kept talking about Blue Sky and Bright something or whatever. So yeah, I might check into that because I'm not on X. I deleted my X account a few months ago. Non-useful says nursing homes are going to close in great numbers if Medicare and Medicaid goes away. Just another thing where we're going to see people die. It's going to cause lots of death. This Trump administration is going to cause a lot of unnecessary deaths, just like he did with COVID. And a lot of people like to say there was 1 million. I've heard reports that it's 500,000 because people were going to die anyhow of COVID, but that he caused at least 500,000 unnecessary deaths. I know that over 1 million people died, but they're saying that because of Trump's mishandling, it was at least 500,000 that died unnecessarily. And it's going to happen again. We're going to have who knows how many thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. God forbid, I hope it's not in the millions of unnecessary deaths due to this motherfucker right here. That motherfucker. Okay, I'm skipping down. I'm cherry picking here. Misfire says it's like a downward spiral. You tariff me 30%. No, I'll tariff you 40%. Or I bypass it through country XYZ and pay only 25%. Well, there was already the guy, I guess CEO or something of Nike. I think it was Nike. Did you guys see that? Where he heard about the 60% tariffs for China, goods made in China. And then he was like, "Yeah, we'll just move everything to like Taiwan and Vietnam and Cambodia and and shit like that." So I don't know. I guess they're gonna do a lot of shit. Stranger and Scary New England says Trucker John bingo. Now this is a half an hour ago probably, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm like a half hour behind, but I do see that Izolda's in as a member for 3 months. Yes, I'm tired of doctors acting powerless. Thank you, Izolda's in, for being a member for 3 months. That is so awesome. Thank you. I can't put into words how grateful I am that to have such great members, and you've been here for 3 months. So thank you, and I hope you stick with us and help us to grow the show and help us to try to get objectivity out and truth out. Let's try to chip into that big ignorant mass. I always say the masses are asses just because it rhymes, but it's actually a big mass of ignorance. Let's try and break through that as much as we can. Chad Bostic with another $10 super chat says, "We all want a better future. Let's lift each other up, focus on good we can do, and remember there's strength and unity and hope." Well, that's true, Chad, and thank you so much again for the $10 super sticker or super chat. I do appreciate you so much. It helps the show, helps us grow, and it will help us to get the truth out. And that's really what I'm dedicating from now on, just getting as much truth out as I can. And while I disagree with a lot of your points of view as far as where you're coming at politically, but I do agree with that statement that we need to stick together, focus on getting the truth out. And the thing about Chad, when he says stupid shit, like saying that our economy sucks, and even though it's the best economy in the world, and we're the richest nation in the world, and by all indications, this economy, if Kamala Harris had won, it was going to continue the policies of Joe Biden, that we were trending in all the right directions. And despite the fact that Chad seems to think that we have a shitty, out of control economy, and that it's going to get better under Trump, well, okay, that part is horseshit, Chad. But I do agree with you that there is strength and unity and hope and all that kind of stuff. Polar Vortex says, "I think they only care if they have doctors and don't care about others at all." Like I said, once Greg Abbott or DeSantis in Florida, or was it Landry in Louisiana, and some of these fucking states, these red states that are all in with abortion bans and with women's health care, not treating women who are in sepsis because they're miscarrying and the doctors are too afraid. Once the doctors start saying we're not going to let any more women die, and then they start locking up their doctors or taking away their medical licenses, and then their wife, DeSantis' wife, wants to go in for an appointment and there's no doctors. Maybe that's one of the things it's going to take. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, folks. I'm just spitballing. Quesadilla 79 says the dictatorship part will set in once racial profiling and mass deportations begin. And so many, I'm hearing stories of Latinos and Hispanics saying, what? You're going to deport my family? Or you're going to deport, and they voted for Trump, Joe Destiny says, ethnic cleansing, genocide. Jolie says, hi to Mark. Ukulele, welcome. Like I said, I'm not seeing all the chats and it's disappearing in front of me. So Mark, ukulele, thanks for being here. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Scully Pop's here. Hey, Scully. At least you were that. I'm not sure if you're still there because I'm probably 20 minutes behind the chat. But thanks for being here, Scully. Always good to see Scully. Scully in the chat. That's how he says it. Scully. Strange and Scary New England says, Kimchi, I had to work at a state-run liquor store in New Hampshire because we were considered essential, and Lysol was also my friend. Ha ha. Surfer Norm says, Gaza is the one blight on Biden's administration. Killing Palestinian civilians is murder, not war. But Joe Biden's not killing them, and I think he's done what he could do. I mean, again, we have that waving of the hand fallacy. I mean, I don't think he can just wave his hand and make it go away. I think Joe Biden tried to put provisions on weapons and stuff being sent to Israel, and I believe the Republicans in Congress shut that down. You might want so someone can look that up and see if I'm talking out my ass or not. I think Biden has tried to get Israel to stop killing so many civilians, and I think whatever measure he's taken, the Republicans in Congress have shut it down. So look that up. Yeah, here's the virtual group hugs by Search for You and Jolie. Again, that's what I was talking about like 20 minutes ago. We need to have these virtual hugs and hand holding and just be there for each other and just keep each other going. It's going to be rough. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's going to be rough. And if we survive it, then whew, and if we don't, then we don't, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's only so much I can do, and there's only so much we can do. But again, like I said earlier, together we're stronger. If we work together, stay together, support each other, maybe we can get through this, and maybe we can turn things back around. Because we had a really good thing going with Joe Biden. We did. We had a great fucking thing going. And I really thought we were going to get at least 8 years, whether it was with Biden or Harris. I really did. And I never in a million years thought that once Trump lost in 2020, I really didn't think that we would ever have Trump again. But here we are. Here we are. Stephanie B2 says, I just sent my MAGA cousin a list of all the crap Trump did during his first presidency and told her not to talk to me until she's read it. Yeah, we got to just keep getting the truth out there, Stephanie. Just keep pumping the truth out. Tamara Price says the entire election was 1,000% cheated. We can't do anything except stand up for ourselves and stand up now. I don't know if it was 1,000% cheated, but I mean, I haven't really looked into it, but it is weird that the numbers. Kamala Harris got, way less votes than Joe Biden did, and that seems weird to me. And I think there are questions about Georgia, right? I've heard lots of things of people saying like their votes didn't get counted, or they haven't, they sent in ballots and they didn't get any notification or whatever. I think there's, I don't know if it's 1,000%, but it definitely needs to be looked into. It definitely needs to be investigated. And I hope that it is being seriously looked into and investigated. What the fuck was Georgia doing, and other places too. Any place where there's some irregularities, it should be seriously looked into and then reported. Kimchi says the media is complicit. You cannot get the word out. We tried. F this country. Well, that's what I'm not saying we can't rely on the mainstream media. I've already outlined how they are just in it for the money, and the right wing media is just in it to be a propaganda arm of the Republican Party. We're going to have to do it through our social media, through YouTube, and God forbid TikTok, which I'm not on. I've actually thought about going back to TikTok because that does seem to be where a lot of these fucking Gen Zers or whatever are getting their information, and they're getting a lot of bullshit. Maybe Trucker John has to go back to TikTok and fucking straighten those youngins out, I'm still 23 minutes behind, but whatever. Let me just kind of scroll up here a little bit. Joe Destiny, you can't treat MAGA like they are anywhere near rational. No, that's true, but there are lots of non-MAGA Republicans, traditional Republicans that you can talk rational to. I'm very thirsty. Non-useful. I get 2 dozen eggs every morning by my ladies. MJ Daniel, $5 for 18 eggs, under $3.50 for milk. The GOP lies are out of control. Yeah, like I said, I got this 18 thing at Albertsons. I think it was under $5. My milk it's less than $3.50. Mine was I think $2.99 for a gallon of very good 2% milk. MJ Daniels says, not the government genius. Would you have President Biden telling private companies how to do business? Utility is private. That is what capitalism is. Yeah, it's private, but a lot of it is under a public utility commission, I think, right? To try and keep them under control somewhat. Scary, strange and scary. New England says Chad Boswick, voting for Putin isn't voting for better. I'm just cherry picking some of your guys' chats out because I'm like a half hour behind, so I apologize for that. I'm seeing MJ Daniel in here, Kimchi, Joe Destiny's here, Sycophit is here, Jeff Curry is here. I hope you're feeling better. I think you had a head injury. Hopefully you're feeling better. I'm just skipping down a little bit. Don O'Leary is here. Says, I'm going to track my grocery bills now and wait and see the increase when the convicted felon DJT and rapist. I suggested my my trumpet to do the same. Yeah, we will be there to show them. Free at 28, almost 70 people tuning into John and Broom Cupboard. Yeah, it's getting kind of tight fit in here. Hey guys, make sure you share the show. I think we got room for more. We got room for a few more. So share the show. Let's get some more people in here in this broom closet. Okay, we got. I'm just looking at the chats here a little bit. Stephanie V2, Surfer, are you not hearing me? I said that corporations like oil do gouge us in California. Joe Destiny, good luck, all you American heroes. I'm skipping down a little bit. You guys are great though. Great chats going on. You guys have got it. You guys got it going on. You could carry on without me. Tamara Price, she is not ladylike enough, and a man can get stuff done. Like I said, I'm mid-thread in some of these conversations, so I apologize for that. But there's Scully Pop with the TV emoji, I guess. So Zen DeSantis is a bad example. He would let his wife die. Yeah, probably a bad example. Tampa Price, strange and scary. These people don't watch TV. They get their news from church. And they get their news from TikTok. Some of them. That's why I was just saying, maybe I should go back to TikTok. Try to be one of the lone voices over there of reason and sanity. Strange and Scary New England, welcome to Drivers. Strange and Scary became a member. Thank you so much. Strange and Scary New England. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good to see you. Yeah, we got memberships, all that kind of good stuff. Maybe I'll do I was trying to get the old, what was I calling it? Members only Mondays going. Maybe we'll do that this Monday. MJ Daniel, would people have President Biden attack Israel? What the fuck? Could he do more than he has done? People are so fucking stupid. My fear is that now that Trump is president, Netanyahu is just going to be, taken off the leash and let him do whatever the fuck he wants. And if he wants to, you talk about genocide going on, you ain't seen nothing yet. And you had a lot of Arab Americans in Michigan, Muslim Americans, apparently, that voted for Trump because they didn't like Biden's actions on Gaza. Talk about fuck around and find out. They're going to be partially responsible because they helped get Trump elected. They're going to be partially responsible for their family members and their fellow Muslims over in Gaza. If they have, probably a lot of them have family members over there, their friends, relatives, whatever. They might get murdered now. They might get killed, wiped out. We need to remind them of that too. It's pretty kind of gruesome to do a fuck around and find out when you're talking about people being killed, but my God, Magua Crone is here. I don't think I've seen the name in the chat before, so thanks for being here. You guys make sure you like, subscribe, and share so we can, get more people in this little broom closet, as someone called it. Magua Crone says it is from this is a quotation. It is from principally white racist Christians that we have the threat of fascism in this country. In quotes, Alan Watts, 1970. Now, Alan Watts made he was like a philosopher, intellectual, and I think he's the one that comes under a lot of criticism I think he was the one that said, if you're going to get raped, just kick back and enjoy it, or something like that. And a lot of people, have X'd him off of any type of credibility because of that. And I think, and I'm going to sound like an apologist, but I think what he was trying to say is that I guess there are times when, no matter how you try to fight something, maybe there are some times when you need to just kind of let it go and let it happen. I don't know. It's a horrible analogy. The whole thing's horrible. So whenever anyone talks about Alan Watts, that's what I think of. And because I used to listen to Alan Watts a lot. They used to play, audio of him doing his lectures on KPFK, right, in LA. And I used to listen to those a lot. And then when I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, what? And I've kind of not ever listened to him ever again. And that was like 30 years ago. But that doesn't mean that everything he said was bullshit. But I just think that was a horrible analogy that he was trying to make. And, could have gone about that some other way, I think. Sometimes people try to be, and those lectures, I think, were from the 60s or 70s, probably 70s. And, he's trying to be hip and cool, maybe, or something. I don't know. And edgy. And when you try to be hip and cool and edgy and you're kind of riffing, you got to be careful. Look what happened to Michael. Was it Michael Richards or whatever? Kramer. He tried to riff and tried to be edgy, and that was a real fuck around and find out moment because that ended his career right there on the spot when he was using the N word on his stand up and all this kind of stuff. So hip, cool, and edgy. On on the spur of the moment, do that at your own risk, I guess, at your own peril. Mogul Crone also says at least there are already a couple bird flu vaccines in the pipeline. Yeah, and then if something happens during Trump's administration, what is he gonna do his best to downplay it and to fuck up distribution? I'll put my money on that part of it. Misfire says, and this is I guess a quote, says, "We got our eggs, but no more dairy." And then end quote. And actually, it was like a one quote thing. Anyhow, I can just hear it already. And Jolie reminds us, Trucker John has channel memberships, super chats. You can also support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Please share the show. Give me a thumbs up. Get us out in that algorithm. Let's get us to be as big as House Sparks. Maybe House Sparks will have me on again. If I could have 75,000 subscribers, maybe House Sparks will invite me back on again. I was on the House Sparks show, by the way, a couple weeks ago. I've been on Liberal Dan, and I've been on Tara Devlin. I've made 3, and I was on Mike Malloy at one time, a long time, and not the Mike Malloy that us left-wingers think about, but there's another Mike Malloy who's on the other side. But anyhow, so I've done some guest spots here and there, little Trucker John, in my right here from my, as someone called it, broom closet. I like to call it a driver's lounge, but anyway. Tomato. Oh, and also you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. There's the link. If you want to help support the show, help the show grow and get big and strong someday. We'll get big and strong. And keep us on so we can keep getting the truth out. Or at least have a place, like I say, where we can come together and let's just all support one another. And I know even those of us that are on the same side, so to speak, we're coming from the liberal side or left side or whatever. I know there are some of us, we have different opinions and different things, but that's okay. We can still support one another. We can still support one another. Like, okay, non-useless says, RFK Jr. is dismantling all vaccines, including COVID-19. First of all, RFK Jr. is not doing anything right now. Okay, they're not going to be able to do anything until January 21st, or maybe, I guess, technically January 20th. But okay, so RFK isn't doing anything. He's not in charge of anything. Let's not say shit that's not happening. Okay, we have to operate from integrity and objectivity and from facts. Let's operate from facts. RFK is not dismantling anything. Let's see. We got. I skipped down. Jolie says David coming in hot. Hi, David. Let me go back. See if I can go back. It says David in Grand Prairie, Texas. Okay, so here's David. It says, fuck the Gaza issue, and anybody still worried by the Republican Party issue equal you've been played by Republican Gaza issue, you fools. Have you Gaza shitheads heard of real fucking genocide in Ukraine? And that's when Jolie says, David coming in hot. Hi, David in Grand Prairie, Texas. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, by the way. And Nick Rich says, Mr. Bob reverting to his troll personality? Maybe. We might be seeing some of that from from them, getting back to feeling emboldened. I think some of these right wingers were maybe pretty sure that Trump was going to lose, so they're trying to get on our good side, our good graces. But now that Trump has won, you might see their true colors coming back out. Non-useful $5 super chat. No more vaccines under RFK. P will become a commodity. Let's see what happens. He might not even be appointed to anything. Trump was just using him for the Kennedy name. We'll see. We'll see how many things that Trump said he was going to do, and see what he actually does. Because if the first administration was any indicator, he didn't do much of what he said he was going to do. He couldn't even build the goddamn wall. Big Hook is here. The Big Canuck says Trump needs RFK as a distraction of all the criminal activity he has planned this term, Jeff. Mogwell Crone, thank you, strange to agree. Alan helped me get over the death of my father. Free event 28, 45,000 people dead, 70% women and children, 98,000 injured. BB bloodthirsty now. And like I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Now that Trump is president, all you Muslim Americans that voted for Trump, 45,000 dead. It could go to 200,000, 500,000 very, very fucking quickly and easily. And that's on you. And by you, I mean the people that voted for Trump. And specifically, I was just talking about Muslim Americans. I don't want anyone in the chat thinking I'm talking about you, unless you're one of them. Jeff Curry, I just saw an ad on TV for a cooking pot that stirs itself. Kind of creepy, kind of cool. Look at there. Now the computers and the robots, now they're taking away cooks' jobs. Butterflies Are Free is here. Butterflies Are Free says, hi, Trucker John. And chats and mods, you were great on House Sparks. You were a nice addition to the show. Well, thank you. Thank you for that little compliment. I hope I can go back on sometime. It'd be nice to chat with Hal and chat with you guys, and it was fun. It was a fun experience. Mogwell Crone says, correct. If we have a midterm, he's got only what a year, and then we might swing the pendulum. I'm hoping that's maybe that's where we should be focusing. Getting out the vote for the midterms, getting that big blue wave, and then just trying to slow him down as much as we can, in between here and there. Now we need to be the obstructionists, right? I've gone 2 hours, 23 minutes. I'm getting very, very thirsty. I'm out of water. I'm out of coffee. I mean, I'll hang out as long as you guys want me to. Let me know if you guys are getting sick of me, and I can shut this whole thing down. David and Grand Prairie says Clayton W. Williams, Republican governor candidate, made rape joke in his Texas governor race. Yeah, pretty disgusting. Sick of it says, don't let Trump's crazy plans make us sound hyperbolic. Let it play out. Sick of it says, less predictions, the more we don't sound insane. That's true. I mean, I've been sort of prognosticating a lot of shit. But I think that our best, like I said, our best hope, I think, is to get ready for the midterms try to get a big blue wave, and let's just try to stymie and obstruct as much as we can in any way we can between now and then. Stymie Trump and the Republican Party, because they are not good for us. They are not good for the people. They are not good for democracy. There's another one of my Facebook friends who said, like, and I'm pretty sure it was in response to me, because I've been posting a lot of anti-Trump things on my Facebook page, and especially since the election, and just blaming people or accusing people of voting for a rapist and a criminal. And so he put out this thing, like, and it was some meme or something, but then he said, in his own words, he said, I didn't vote for the man or something like that. I voted for, and he had this whole list of things, like, getting rid of the education department so that our children aren't indoctrinated, and and there was just a whole list of these kind of right wing things that he said he voted for. I haven't responded yet, but I think my response will be, I voted for democracy. You voted for fascism. That's the response. These fucking maggots and others, they voted for authoritarianism. And did you see that? I guess there's been polling, exit polling, or interviews going on about people who they voted for Trump, but they voted for the Kamala Harris issues, like keeping abortion legal and all that kind of stuff. And they were told about the tariffs, and they were like, didn't even know anything about that. And they were told about how Trump wants to be an authoritarian. And one of the biggest responses was like, what's an authoritarian? So we've got a long way to go in educating people, and let's just do that. We should all dedicate in whatever way we can. And I don't propose or whatever that I'm some genius. I'm not a genius. I'm of average intelligence. I think I'm at least average, and but that doesn't mean we can't, get facts and promote them. So in every way we can, whether it's our friends, our family, our social, we all have social medias. We're all on somewhere, right, on the internet. So you're here on YouTube, wherever you're at. Let's just concentrate on promoting the truth, getting the truth out there, and don't let them control the narrative. Let's take over the narrative. MJ Daniel, I voted for the professional, ethical adult who would have governed for we the people. America chose the senile sexual predator. Don O'Leary, we had pink signs. J.A. Dickey, the tariffs are going to hit hard. Marie Giangreco gifted 5 Trucker John memberships. Thank you, Marie. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That helps to grow the channel, helps us get the word out. And so we got Chris Welch, Human F Being, Carrie, Sophie Bliss, and Kathleen Matthews was gifted the membership. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much from Marie Giangreco. Always appreciate that. That's a good way to help the show. And if you guys see my videos when you're, going on to YouTube, go ahead and just click on it, give it a like. You can do clips. Doing clips of the show, that helps a lot. To get the message out, Make sure you guys do that. That'd be great. Big Hook says the Republican plot to dumb down America will be fait complete. I don't know, but fait complete. After they eliminate education, don't forget Vance wants to raid the university and college endowments. They have a lot that they want, but are they going to do it? Can we stop them? Can we be the fly in the ointment? Oliver Brownlow says apparently you're a Mensa member compared to the average voter. Butterflies are free. The most frustrating thing was trying to tell Trumpers They were wrong about Trump. It's a cult. I don't know why I bothered most of them. The maggots definitely is a cult. Definitely. And they are brainwashed, and they watch him, and they I was at a Trump rally here in Vegas, and they look at him with love and adornment and everything he says. And that's when he was saying all this stupid shit about the truck, and I mean the shark and the battery and all kinds of stupid shit. And they just are like in rapt attention. No, they love him. They are in a fucking cult. They are brainwashed. That's for sure. Bobby Hansen, I saw you on Hal's show. Thank you, Bobby Hansen, for being here, by the way. And I'm glad you saw the show, and I hope you liked it. And then I would like to go back someday. But anyhow, you're here, and so make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Let's get the share button going. Like I said, you can watch my clips, or you can clip the show. I'm sure once you're in here, you might be getting me in your feed a little bit. And I think I've got like over 1,000 videos. You can look on my page. You can look and see. I've got like lots of videos. And if you see one that you happen to see one, go ahead and like it, subscribe, or like it and share it, and even clip it. You can do that clip thing. They have a little button where you can do clips. I just want to look at my channel real quick. My channel, I have over 1,200 videos. All right. And it looks like we might be back up to 3,490 subscribers. I don't know. I did lose about 23 subscribers after the election, and we're slowly getting back. But yeah, I've got 1,200 videos, over 1,200 videos. So hopefully they'll be popping into your feed. And if you see one, watch a little bit of it. Some of them are very long. You don't have to watch all of them, the whole thing. Watch a couple minutes of it, and do a clip of it or whatever. It helps the show. All that stuff helps. General Putnam 2 is here. Says putting in a word here for late night tuber David Feldman, who's very good. I watch him occasionally. He's very good. He did a great breakdown of these cryptic incongruous state by state vote totals. It doesn't make sense. I know, and I don't know what to make of it, and I don't know what to do about it. It doesn't make sense to me either, and I don't know how much of that is just me being like not so much in denial, but it just doesn't pass the smell test. Like I said, Kamala Harris raised over $1 billion in 3 months. Her campaign stops everywhere she went. It was packed houses, tens of thousands of people just excited, on fire, ready to go. We saw hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million new registrations, voter registrations. Just from Taylor Swift's endorsement alone, it was, what was it, like 500 or 800,000 in just a few days. We saw all this stuff coming in, and then on the other side, on Trump's side, the crowds were getting less and less. He was getting less and less coherent. He was, giving the microphone a blowjob, basically. I mean, it was pathetic, and it looked like a losing campaign. That's why I cannot put it. It does not jibe, as the kids used to say back in my day. I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't. It just does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. And you look at those states that were coming in, Michigan and Wisconsin, and then she lost. Eventually, we were holding on. We were holding on to Pennsylvania, and at that time, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, I think New Hampshire or something hadn't been called yet. And they first it was too close to call. Then it went pink, which meant it was like leaning Republican. And I was like, oh fuck. And then, but they kept holding on to Pennsylvania, holding on, because I guess we were waiting for that big dump of votes to come in, whatever. But still, it just didn't make sense when you watched the campaign and you saw the enthusiasm and the support and of the Kamala Harris campaign, and you saw the death of the Trump campaign. It was like death warmed over. And that's why this doesn't make sense. It does not add up. And I don't know what to say about it because I don't know. I don't know. That's why I don't really talk too much about it because I don't know. And I'm hoping that people who do know more about that kind of shit, you know, will keep hammering for investigations into this. I don't know that anything can be done or changed, but between now and January 20th, I'm not hoping for that. I mean, I am hoping for that kind of in a way, but I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. And if there is anything that needs to come out about that, it needs to come out. It needs to come out. It needs to be exposed. If there was some kind of cheating or something, whatever it is, whether it's just disinformation campaigns or whatever it needs to come out. We need to know why this happened because I don't know why it happened. I still don't know why it happened. And like we were talking about, okay, she only had 3 months. Maybe that was it. We could talk all these things. I don't, but I still don't know. I still don't know. I still don't get it. Still don't know how she didn't get at least 81 million votes or 82 million votes that Joe Biden got in 2020. Other than that, people stayed home because they didn't know her enough or something. I don't. It's just it's a head scratcher. It's a total head scratcher. But yeah, Feldman's good. He's really good. And like I said, I agree. There's something fishy. There's something wrong. It just doesn't feel right. And again, I'm trying to be objective. And so when I say it doesn't feel right, is that just because I'm so disappointed because it didn't go the way I wanted it? Or is there actually something there? That's where we need the experts to come in and say, yeah, this was fine. It was all legal. Or we need someone to say, no, there's some shit here that, and it has to be, I need like a non-partisan, objective election expert to give me some guidance on that. That's what I need. I don't know what you guys need, but that's what I need. Kim Chi says she waited in line for 2 hours and couldn't get into the DC rally. Yeah, there was like, what, 75,000 people there? I mean, come on. Come on, man. It just doesn't fucking add up. And again, is that me being very biased or like I said, I need some fucking experts to come out and they need to be fucking out and loud with this shit. You know? Bigotry and misogyny are rampant in America. We like to pretend it doesn't exist, but it colors everything in today's life. Marie Drinker, have a lovely evening. Nick Rich, Clover, he said he didn't need votes. Yeah, and I don't know if that's, I know. Like did he know the fix was in? Or was that just him, saying shit? I don't know. Sela's here. Hey, Sela. Good to see Sela. I don't know if I've seen this one before, that name before. So welcome to the Driver's Lounge. It says Jack Smith, America deserves to see all the files. Absolutely. Get that shit into the public record. Don't let it get buried. Jack Smith, for the love of God, get everything you can get that's evidentiary, every part of your report, every part of your investigation. Get it out to the American public. They need to see it. We all need to see that shit. It should never be buried because Donald Trump will bury it. He will burn it and bury it. And so it needs to get out before January 20th. Chris Carney's here. Hey, Chris says it's possible 15 to 20 million Americans didn't know Kamala and hated Trump and just stayed home. It sucks, but that could be the case. A lot of people stayed home. Yeah, Chris. And thanks for being here, by the way. I don't think I've seen you before in the chat. Thank you. And that very well could be the case. And that's what I've kind of been leaning on that too, and kind of talking about that in today's show about how people are saying she was only campaigning for 3 months. If she'd had the full year and a half to 2 years that Trump had, then that might have been a whole different thing. But maybe that's it. Let's see. Rob 4419. Hey TJ, my feelings too. Where are her voters? Rosanna says, "What was the secret between the speaker and Dump?" Yeah. What was the secret? I guess we'll never know. I think the secret was that it was probably just some bullshit that Trump made up, and it was going to be like that. Um, Mike wouldn't recognize the slate of voters or something from the states or what. Who knows? Rosanna, yes, release the dump files. Um, Josh is here. Hey, Sela is welcome. Polar Vortex. Before the election, I listened to podcasts which said they thought Trump was giving up because he was going to states like California. Yeah, yeah, I heard that too. I heard that too. We all heard that kind of shit. Um, Kimchi, 30 Russian bomb threat. Yeah, the bomb threats. That was a big one too. I think that was a big one too. That's being kind of underreported. How many folks didn't vote or were turned away, or because the maybe the polling place got closed because of the bomb threat. All that shit. Anyhow, all right, guys. I think it's time. I'm getting really thirsty and kind of tired of talking. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes of me just kind of babbling and rambling, doing my weave. I don't know if I weave beautifully enough. I don't know, but just remember, we got a really great economy under over here under Joe Biden. And let's remind these fucking maggots and these people that voted for Trump every single second, once the economy really does go to shit in the next couple of years here, that this is what we had, and we could have got more of this and even better of this, but instead they chose this motherfucker who's gonna fucking, just like he does everything, he's gonna turn it all to shit. That's what he does. He's a shit turner. He's a shit turner. He turns everything to shit, and he sucks the joy out of everything. We were feeling so joyful, and those Kamala Harris campaigns were really fucking joyful. This motherfucker, he just sucks the joy out of everything. There's no joy in that fucking dick. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. And God damn it, I thought we were going to be rid of him, but I guess we're stuck with him for a little bit longer. But I think if we stick together, like I said earlier, let's all stick together. Let's be the obstructionists in any way we can. Let's slow them down. Let's hang on for 2 more years and get the big blue wave going for those midterms. And then we'll go on from there and see it. And then we can start talking about 2028. But right now, I think we got to put all of our focus and attention and efforts on 2026. Because if we don't win the House or whatever, and hopefully get the Senate or something, I don't and I don't think 2028. I'm not saying we're not going to have elections. I just don't know how fair and free they'll be. So let's concentrate. Let's do one thing at a time here. Between now and 2026, let's stick together, have each other's backs. Let's support one another. Let's lift each other up. And let's get ready for 2026. Vote blue for all that's dear to you. Trademark Trucker John. I'm keeping my trademark. And let's win in 26. That kind of rhymes. That might work. Let's win in 26. I'm trademark Trucker John. I think I just trademarked another thing. Let's win in 26. Trademark Trucker John. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta go. And plus, I'm gonna. It's 2:00 already here, and I'm gonna go to work pretty soon. I gotta work. Gonna get in that old Uber car, and drive some folks around Vegas and see what happens. All right, guys. And so my next show, maybe members only Monday. I don't know. Let me know if you guys are really interested in that. The members only Monday. I've only done it once, I think, or twice. No, I didn't think I did it twice. It just seems like Monday is always my catch-up day, and I'm always doing a lot of shit. other real life shit. So I'll try to do the members only, but if not, let's plan on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, right here on this channel, the Trucker John channel on YouTube. And you can see my schedule's there. If you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and that will help. Should help you know that when I'm on and all that kind of stuff. So, hey guys, I'll see you Tuesday. Keep on keeping on. It's let's buckle up and ride this motherfucker out, and let's just all the way. We are gonna be a fucking thorn in this motherfucker's ass. All right, we are gonna be a thorn in his fucking shitty diaper wearing ass. All right, we're not gonna go easy. We're not gonna go quietly into that good night. We're not. All right, and so just remember, guys, as we go through life, that
well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask, hey, take a shower. No, that's not what I meant. But I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should've stopped truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no